Hello and welcome everyone, I'm Madals and today, a best of one game. It is from the Team Story Cup, and therefore, even though this is best of one, it's part of team games obviously, and it is going to be a Protoss versus Zerg. So let's get straight into this and introduce the two players. Spawning in the bottom right position, we've got the red Protoss player, Socke, and his opponent spawning up in the top left. We've got from Team Root, the yellow Zerg player, CatZ. And apparently they're trying to someone thought that Drewby was using CatZ account and this wasn't actually CatZ, but considering Drewby is also logged in, I'm guessing that he is actually CatZ playing CatZ's account and nothing too confusing is going on. And judging by the confusion of the other observers, that is indeed the case. But that is all fine, everything good indeed. Drewby is #1 Zerg secret weapon, but ultimately, secret weapons will only get you so far. What you really need is some really solid build orders, some great macro, some great micro, and we'll be seeing if that's coming up anytime soon. CatZ should go for a pull first, he should. 15 or 14 pull, followed up by a nice quick hatchery. We're playing on Ahana. I haven't seen Ahana in so long. I miss it. And of course, Ahana means family, for anyone who doesn't know. And I can't believe I actually managed to say that without laughing while I was saying it. Of course, inside jokes for everyone casting. You can hear more inside jokes and more funny caster jokes if you follow @LiquidRed. But as we see, at the moment we've just got Socke here being like, okay, you're not taking a hatchery. CatZ has been like, I'm not getting a spawning pool either though, bro. I am just going to go hatch first. At my third, and then I'm going to take a hatchery at my natural as well. I'm going to go double hatchery because I am baller like that. That is the sort of thing I want to do. Okay, CatZ, seriously though, dude, don't go hatch. Hatch would be ultra brave, especially when you've been in here and you have scouted that Socke's going for a gateway expand with an early gas. Don't do it. You just need a spawning pool. Make a spawning pool, CatZ. Thank you. Okay, we can relax now. Chill, deep breaths, in through the mouth, in through the nose, out through the mouth. That's the way you've got to do it. Calm yourself, Madals. Don't get too overexcited. But this probe, what is the probe doing? Seriously, don't panic. There's can be no cannons, but there can be more probes coming out. Zealot is also on its way. So is this cybernetics core. This is getting all very fun. I like gateway openings on Ahana, to be honest, because you can really pressure in quite nicely. It's not that much of a huge rush distance. The ramp is quite narrow. Everything's really quite nice and peachy for it. So why wouldn't you do it? There's no reason not to. It's all good. At the moment though, this drone is just playing a little bit of tag with this poor probe, which is coming off the worst, but only taking shield damage, so nothing too much to worry about there. CatZ taking his gas as well, because the reason CatZ is taking this gas is because this Nexus, it's a gateway expand, therefore you don't need to try and get a 420 third. Instead you need to actually get out gas to get out speed in order to defend anything like zealots that come wandering over your way, because nobody likes a zealot in your base. The zealot was actually cancelled though. So, nice little mind games there. I'm sure that there was a zealot on its way. Really sure. I'm not just imagining things. If I am imagining things, let me know in the comment section below so I can get myself seen by a psychiatrist. Because if I'm imagining things, that could be incredibly dangerous, especially as a caster, because I could tell you strange things happened which never did occur. Arguably, though, that would make the game a lot more exciting. And actually, that could be a whole new thing, just like light casting. We just make it up. Oh my goodness, there's a battle cruiser on its way. Bet that made you look if you weren't paying attention. But ultimately, we have just got this Stalker running around, pushing back the Zergling. That means CatZ has one Zergling left. Just running around, making sure no probes or anything. Does need to consider getting a third base relatively soon, because the Nexus is down. This Overlord is like, yo, hey Nexus, what's up? Knows it's down, so therefore, the third should be up soon. The Stalker just going to come and have a little check to make sure it wasn't taken too greedily. Speed is, of course, a quarter done. We've got only the one Zergling down. 2 additional gateways on their way out to Moik. What is Moik? I can't speak properly today. It's really a problem. I keep kind of blurring words together like some kind of crazy man. And that, along with imagining zealots getting made, it really isn't boding well for my psychological health. But as we can see, these 2 gateways are coming down. This makes a complete wall off. That is likely to mean that Socke not going to try and move out with any gateway units, which could be a bit of an indicator to CatZ that either a Stargate's coming out, a War Prism, or he's just going to take out these rocks and take a quick third, all of which are really viable strategies and really nice. But Overlord giving a little bit of vision there. Overlord giving a little bit of vision here. Zergling being like, yo, okay, You got a complete wall off, so that's all nice. More Zerglings are on their way out. They're going to come down here. No third taken yet. Speed just kicking the Spine Crawler is down in the lair being produced. That's going to open up that lair tech, all very, very nice. CatZ are also taking that second gas and third gas as well, so could be going for some kind of Roach aggression timing. Roach Ling could also be, if he gets a fourth gas, Muta play, that wouldn't be too bad. A Void Ray is going to be the unit of choice out of the Protoss player. That's quite interesting, getting a Void Ray. Usually you tend to see Phoenix or Oracles. More commonly at the moment it seems to be Phoenix, to be fair, but Void Rays allow you to do some nice damage, also good later on. These Zerglings are being like, no proxy pylon, you are not going down. Surround the Stalker, that Stalker is definitely going to die exceptionally fast. The Zealots also going to likely die, but a bit slower. You've got to be careful engaging two Zealots because ultimately they do fare fairly well against Zerglings. One goes down, of course a second Zealot on its way in. Four Zerglings, two with very low health, won't be able to deal with this, but CatZ, he's happy, he's got his Queen out there, he's got his Spine Crawler. A Robotic Facility is on its way down now for Socke, so is the Hydra Den though. So this is something that can catch you a little bit off guard. Has the Void Ray been spotted? Yes it has, because the Overlord was killed. That's what's triggered this Hydra Den being like, okay, Void Rays, I'll counter that with Hydras. Hydras are good against Void Rays because they're not armoured. Corruptors get destroyed, but that's fine. I'm getting Hydras down because Hydras are good against anything that Stargates or Gateways can make. But Robotics Facilities are just a step away from Robotics Bay, which is just a step away from a Colossus. And Colossi shred through Hydras like a hot thermal lance through butter. And that just means that this tech switch quickly up can throw some Zerg players off guard, and therefore CatZ does need to be a little bit cautious. But CatZ going with some special tactics, a sneaky third base taken, which may throw Socke off a little bit, because he's coming up there being like, okay, he hasn't got a third base yet. That's interesting. I guess he's going for some kind of two-base aggression. The Robotics Bay is in production. We've got 8 Hydralisks coming down. These Zealots are going to get surrounded. The Queen's doing some nice work against that Void Ray, but the Hydras are definitely going to come and finish that off. We can see that the Zealots are getting taken down very easily now by those Hydralisks. The Robotics Bay half done. We've got the +1 Protoss ground weapons on its way down. Groove Spines also getting researched for the moment, and that Groove Spine upgrade obviously increases the range of the Hydralisk's attack, meaning it's a bit more defensive, but obviously without muscular augments you're unable to move effectively off creep. But as we've got this third base now spotted, we can see these Void Rays with prismatic alignment are going to start really tearing it down, dealing a lot of damage. This hatchery almost certain to be forced to cancel, and there we go. So this is a bit of a loss for CatZ, who's still on equal basis as his opponent. These Hydras working their way through these pylons, and if they manage to snipe that one on the right, would be able to depower those two gateways, which would be very frustrating, and that is why we see Socke chucking down the additional pylons to make sure they've still got power. These rocks are getting taken out. The sentries do have a bit of energy remaining on them, so should be able to get the wall of us. But some Zerglings sneak into the main base. This could be a really big problem now for Socke, because suddenly a lot of probes are going to die. These Zerglings are going to start tearing through everything, their claws and teeth and whatever else Zerglings have to attack with. Just going to do a lot of damage. The Hydra gets taken out by the Colossus. The Zerglings managing to kill 4 workers, so not a huge number, but better than nothing. The Void Rays are getting their sweet, sweet revenge though, managing to just focus down a few Hydras which are here, but the Queens on their way back as well, just mean that the Void Rays force back. One Void Ray actually going down there. The Hydra's not doing too badly. Unfortunately, one Queen is a bit too fat to get through, but then realizes, moves out the way, and her fellow Queens finish off the Void there. Hydra's still just wandering around quite nicely. These rocks have been taken out. The second Colossus about to pop. We've got the Infestation Pit also coming down here for CatZ. Probably going to be teching up relatively quickly to get some Vipers out, to get some great abducts on the Colossus to make sure that obviously they can't do too much damage from afar. And that's a really good way to deal with it. Meanwhile, Socke is taking his Twilight Council. Extended Thermal Lance is about to finish, and his third base should be up and running before too long, because he desperately needs to get that. And CatZ actually getting a couple of Swarm Hosts out. Now this is an interesting strategy. He's going to try and soft contain his opponent with those Swarm Hosts. So a Swarm Host Hydra composition, and that can be really effective, to be fair. But the problem is that when you've already got some Colossi out, they really deal quite effectively with the Locusts, especially if then this Twilight Council, which is just finished, follows up with a Templar Archives. A couple of storms really will mean the end of any Locust pushing in, and with just a few observers over the army, you can really deal with it effectively. But as we see at the moment, CatZ taking out these rocks. He's got his third finally secured. He's ahead by 10 workers, but with the third already coming out for Socke, he needs to look to take his fourth base relatively quickly, because otherwise he will not be in a very comfortable economic position. and that's something obviously the CatZ does want to have the advantage over the Protoss with. These Locusts just running around being like, yo, I'm 3 units, might as well just send them out somewhere. We've got the Protoss force moving across the map though, currently just getting up towards that second watchtower being held by a Hydralisk. Though the Hydra will bravely see exactly what's coming down before it gets killed, so sacrificing itself for all of the vision. Meanwhile, these creep streamers are going to get taken out with the Observer there, so this is just going to force the creep back, which wasn't spread massively anyway, but the Locust should just be able to hold this off, especially with the aid of the Spine Crawlers. The Swarm Host count getting slowly higher, 7 out, 6 more on the way. Anything over about the 8 mark actually gets you quite a sizable force of units. Vipers will be coming out as soon as this hive is done, and those Vipers are integral to allowing CatZ to engage this army effectively, because if he gets the Abducts down on the Colossus and pulls them into the Locusts and Hydras, they get focused down very quickly, and suddenly without the splash, the Gateway remaining forces get absolutely annihilated by these Locusts and the Hydras. So that is ultimately what CatZ's goal is. Meanwhile, Socke, he's getting down his War Prism. We've also got the 3rd Nexus up and running. No 4th as of yet, though, for CatZ, so something to keep an eye out for. We can see that, obviously, these units just running around, making sure that they are aware of everything. There could be something, but this could be the real problem. We've got a War Prism coming in, but Hydras are there, ready to take it out. Will they be successful? The War Prism coming back right to the back of the base, but at the same time we've got units pushing in towards the 3rd, and this is what Socke's hoping to do, is distract CatZ with this push, allowing the Zealots to do some damage here. But apparently Socke was too distracted with this push to realise that he needed to actually warp something, and loses the War Prism, but the Zealots doing a considerable amount of damage before the Spine Crawler takes them out. The Locust coming back forward. We've got a couple of force fields getting thrown down, but the Locusts managing to find small gaps through there and deal a little bit of damage. In terms of being cost effective, both players losing very similar amounts. That does favour CatZ though, who usually would be less cost effective than a Protoss just due to the matchup, but with Templar Archives on its way, the Protoss player just not wanting to move forward until he's got Storms available. We can see that the double Colossus production should be on its way. A second War Prism actually just coming down for the time being because the first one lost. Socke really wants to just try and force CatZ to be everywhere at once, but CatZ being smart, putting down Spore Crawlers at these bases he's not actively defending to make sure that anything that comes in does get taken out fast. There's also the Hydras there. The Hive now spotted. The Hive not being used for anything as of yet. There's no Ultralisk Cavern or anything like that. No Vipers in production, but that's really the next thing, as I spoke about earlier, that we should be seeing are a few Vipers hit the field. +2 ground Zerg missile attack on its way. That's up against 2-0 upgrades we've already got finished for the Protoss player, with +3 coming down. There's the 3 Vipers in production. Those Abducts going to be so critical. This proxy pylon going to be a little bit infuriating. And the one thing that CatZ really hasn't researched yet, which I can't believe he hasn't done so, are the Muscular Augments upgrade, because that would help him so much off of creep, and with the creep being denied so effectively by Socke, he has to get that Muscular Augments upgrade if he's going to commit any more to Hydralisk. But as we can see, just mass Swarm Hosts seems to be on the card for the moment. The first Vipers just hitting the field. They need to start consuming any buildings in sight, so preferably throwing down some Evolution Chambers is the best way to do it. The hatchery is also going to get soaked up. We see an Ultralisk Cavern is going to be on its way as well. That's a good transition just to soak up some more damage as well, especially providing a bit of a buffer between the Locusts and Swarm Hosts and Hydras and the main Protoss force. But with Psionic Storm already on its way in, this 5th base getting cancelled, obviously Socke wants to just do a good job of denying expansion. He's got 4 Zealots coming in round towards this 3rd, and where is all of CatZ's army? Well, here it is, it's coming back round, should be able to get there in time quite comfortably though, and the War Prism won't be having that much fun, does get focused very quickly, and the Zealots taken out near effortlessly for the Zerg player. Now, the Colossus count is one thing that's worth noting. There's quite a few out, 5 in total. We do still have 2 more in production at a time, so really committing heavily to those, just in order to deal the splash damage required to deal with just oh so many Locusts. The War Prisms are still trying to get everywhere and anywhere they can. The 4th base just finishing up though for Socke just means that economically, he's not in a bad spot. In terms of the work count, only 1 more drone to probes. That's really putting the Protoss player in a good spot, but now Socke, he's poking forward. What's he going to try and do? Is he going to try and take out this 4th? If he manages to get it, he's going to be over the moon, but here come the Vipers, and Abduct goes down, but a good feedback hits some of them. Storms going down on the Hydralisks as well. Storms deal very well with both Hydras and Locusts, and ultimately with the Mothership Core here as well. Once there's enough energy for a mass recall, it should be quite happy, but currently just choosing instead to use Time Warps to stop the Locusts getting in range before the Colossi can deal with them, and that means the 4th hatchery for CatZ does go down, and Socke now in a brilliant spot. He's in tremendous position moving forward in this game. As long as he doesn't take too many losses retreating out of here, he's got his opponent down to one base below him. We see that an incredible number of workers have been killed by the Zealot harass, both going on in the main and the third. In total, over 40. That takes CatZ down to just 35 workers. And to be honest, I really wouldn't be surprised to see CatZ GG out fairly soon, because he's not got a large bank. He's down to just 40 workers. He knows about this fourth base down here for Socke as well, and that just means that if you know you are 3 bases to your opponent's 4, and you're Zerg against a Protoss, you know things aren't going well. But Kindness Plating is nearly done. CatZ probably going to go for one big final push, try and make it work, because if he can kill off all of Socke's army, he has a chance. But to be honest, with Colossi, with High Templar, with Storms, it's going to be a tough hold. We've got the War Prism coming back in again towards this third. We're going to see more Zealots warping in. And of course, nothing here to defend at the third base. But in come all of the Swarm hosts. The Ultras are there as well. We can see some damage being done relatively quickly now. Those Ultras are just going to soak up some damage, but unfortunately getting zoned out by his own Locust. A couple of Abducts going down on the Colossi as quickly as possible, but no Locust there in order to attack them. Where is the Observer? That is the big question I have got for Socke, and 2 are on their way over, but of course not with the army itself. And we can see here that the Locust just desperately trying to push as much of this back as they can, but the Swarm host trying to retreat as quickly as possible. But Socke, he's got a lot of momentum here. He is at 170 supply to just 90 of CatZ. That is not a positive position to be in. We've got the Zealots coming back in as well towards this fourth base. They're going to stop a lot of the mining, going to focus the hatchery as quickly as they can. A couple of Locusts coming in. They will be able to deal with this effectively, but the Protoss player taking a 5th base now up against, well, of just a 4th backup. But the third down, that means effectively 1 mining base shortly. These mineral patches at the natural getting insanely low. And with that, I just don't see any way CatZ can come back from this. He's pretty much 70 supply behind his opponent. That is huge. The War Prism is still being very active. The Colossi are going to just start coming up towards these Spine Crawlers. 2 Ultralisks there. A handful of Swarm hosts, but we can see the Locusts are going down so quickly as Storm will shred through all of that. The Mothership Corps is there. A single Ultra does remain. We've got a couple more Locusts trying to come down, but the Hive is going to be no more shortly. The Infestation Pit, the Spawning Pool, they're all going to go down as well. Units desperately trying to come back up here. A single lone Ultra will nominate its way through here, but only with the O2 upgrades. And that's from the Chitinous Plating. Upgrade-wise, CatZ just hasn't kept up, and we can see that that's causing him such detriment in the later stages of the game. He's needed more upgrades to be able to deal with this well, but I'd say Socke and the Protoss are going to be very happy here. He can just move into this 4th base. It's very low anyway. The Locust getting focused down incredibly quickly by just so many Colossi, and CatZ, he's at 112 supply to 175. The Observers are with the army this time, so that means the Swarm hosts are getting taken down. Some Storms going as we see the Locust getting made. 4th base down, and there is the GG. So congratulations to Socke and the Protoss. You managed to win this game. Of course, if you liked the video, make sure you like the video, leave a cool comment and subscribe, and I hope to see each and every one of you tomorrow for yet another new cast. I'm Madals, thanks for watching, and bye for now.